Have you ever wondered how a ship touted as unsinkable could meet such a disastrous end? It's a question that continues to perplex and fascinate us, more than 100 years after the Titanic's maiden voyage. This grand vessel, brimming with promise and luxury, was destined for an unthinkable fate. The irony is as chilling as the waters in which it found its untimely end. Today, we will delve into the history of the Titanic, from its conception to its tragic demise. Our journey begins in the early 20th century, in the bustling shipyards of Belfast, Northern Ireland. Here, in the heart of industrial Europe, a dream was taking shape. A dream to create the largest, most luxurious ship the world had ever seen. This was to be the Titanic, the epitome of mankind's ambition and ingenuity. The conception of Titanic was nothing short of audacious. Its creators at the White Star Line were determined to outdo their rivals at Cunard, who had recently launched two impressive liners. Titanic was to be more than just a ship. It was a statement of superiority, a testament to the power and prestige of its creators. Over 3 years, thousands of workers toiled day and night to bring this dream to life. Titanic was a marvel of its time. Standing taller than a 10-story building, stretching longer than 4 city blocks, it was a floating city, complete with grand dining halls, opulent staterooms, and the latest technological advancements. The ship was equipped with state-of-the-art safety features, including watertight compartments and remotely activated doors, earning it the moniker of Unsinkable. The birth of Titanic was met with unprecedented optimism and pride. People were awestruck by its sheer size and grandeur. The press hailed it as the pinnacle of human achievement, a symbol of the unstoppable march of progress. Yet, beneath the jubilation, there was an undercurrent of unease. Some whispered of hubris, of man's reckless quest for supremacy over nature. These voices were largely ignored, drowned out by the fanfare surrounding Titanic's imminent maiden voyage. From the drawing board to the shipyard, the Titanic was a marvel born of ambition and ingenuity. It was the epitome of luxury, a technological wonder, a testament to the spirit of the age. But as the ship ready to embark on its maiden voyage, no one could foresee the tragic fate that awaited this icon of the early 20th century. Little did anyone know that this marvel of engineering would soon become a symbol of one of the greatest maritime disasters in history. On April 10, 1912, the Titanic embarked on its maiden voyage, setting sail from Southampton to New York City. A marvel of human engineering, the Titanic was the epitome of luxury and opulence, and its maiden voyage was a social event like no other. Aboard the ship were some of the most affluent and influential figures of the time. The likes of John Jacob Astor IV, the wealthiest man in America, and Benjamin Guggenheim, a renowned businessman, were just a few of the illustrious passengers. Their presence only added to the glamour and allure of the voyage. The Titanic, the grandest ship ever built, was more than just a means of transportation. It was a symbol of the Gilded Age, a testament to the opulence and excess of the time. The ship was a floating palace, complete with sumptuous staterooms, lavish dining halls, and an array of amenities that were simply unheard of at the time. There was a gymnasium, a swimming pool, a Turkish bath, and even a squash court. The first-class passengers dined on the finest cuisine, served on the finest china, and sipped the finest wines. But it wasn't just the first-class passengers who enjoyed the voyage. The Titanic was also home to hundreds of immigrants, many of whom were embarking on a journey to a new life in America. They too were swept up in the excitement of the voyage, the promise of new beginnings. As the Titanic cut through the Atlantic, there was an air of invincibility, a sense that this ship was untouchable. The passengers reveled in the grandeur and the spectacle, oblivious to the dangers that lay ahead. The Titanic was the embodiment of man's triumph over nature, a symbol of progress and a testament to the power of human ingenuity. However, beneath the veneer of luxury and celebration, a catastrophe was looming. Unbeknownst to the passengers and crew, the Titanic was sailing towards a destiny that would forever mark it as one of the greatest tragedies in maritime history. On the night of April 14th, the Titanic's fate was sealed. The ship, boasting her invincibility, was about to face an adversary she was ill-prepared for. The sky was clear and the sea calm when the Iceberg loomed ahead in the darkness. Despite the frantic efforts of the crew to avert the disaster, the Titanic grazed the iceberg. The collision seemed minor at first. There was no dramatic crash, no shattering of glass, just a slight shudder felt by some of the passengers. The ship, it seemed, had survived its first test. But as the minutes ticked by, a horrifying reality began to unfold. The iceberg had struck the ship below the waterline, causing a 300-foot gash in the hull. The unsinkable Titanic was taking on water. The ship's architect, Thomas Andrews, assessed the damage and delivered the grim news. The Titanic was doomed. The ship, he said, could remain afloat for about 2 hours, maybe less. Panic ensued. The lifeboats, designed to ferry passengers to nearby ships in case of an emergency, were woefully inadequate. There were only enough for about half of the passengers and crew. The women and children first policy left many men behind, and confusion and fear led to many lifeboats being launched half empty. As the ship began listing, the orchestra played on, a haunting melody to accompany the chaos unfolding around them. The grand staircase, once a symbol of the ship's luxury, was now a path to survival as passengers scrambled upwards, away from the rising water. Miscommunication, disbelief, and a lack of preparation all contributed to the disaster. The crew, woefully unprepared for such a catastrophe, struggled to maintain order. The distress signals fired into the night sky went unanswered until it was too late. In less than 3 hours, the unsinkable Titanic would be at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. The grandeur and promise of the Titanic were swallowed by the icy waters, leaving behind a legacy that would echo through the annals of history. The sinking of the Titanic sent shockwaves around the world. As news of the disaster spread, the world held its breath, awaiting the grim details of the maritime tragedy. In the immediate aftermath, the RMS Carpathia, having received Titanic's distress signals, raced against the clock to reach the disaster site. Despite the challenging conditions, the Carpathia's crew managed to pull more than 700 survivors from lifeboats scattered across the frigid North Atlantic. Yet, even as these fortunate souls were saved, the magnitude of the loss became painfully clear. The Titanic had set sail carrying over 2,200 passengers and crew. Over 2/3 of these souls perished in the icy waters that fateful night. Among the victims were some of the era's most prominent figures, their loss amplifying the tragedy's resonance across continents. The international response was immediate and profound. People from all walks of life, from everyday workers to the world's wealthiest, felt the shock of the disaster. Newspapers from New York to London, Sydney to Johannesburg filled their front pages with stories and images of the ill-fated ship. The world mourned together, united in sorrow and disbelief. In the wake of the disaster, investigations were launched on both sides of the Atlantic. The inquiries revealed glaring shortcomings in maritime safety standards of the time. The Titanic, billed as the unsinkable ship, had set sail with lifeboats for less than half of those on board. This stark revelation, among others, led to sweeping changes in maritime safety regulations. The international community rallied together, resulting in the first International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea. New mandates were established, including sufficient lifeboats for all passengers, regular safety drills, and the establishment of the International Ice Patrol to monitor iceberg threats. The Titanic's tragic end marked a turning point in maritime safety regulations. It served as a harsh reminder of the sea's unforgiving nature, prompting us to rethink and revamp our approach to safety at sea. A new era of maritime safety dawned, born out of the Titanic's tragic legacy. Today, more than a century later, the story of the Titanic continues to captivate us. Its legacy is woven into the fabric of our shared cultural memory and has become an enduring symbol of human ambition, resilience, and the power of nature. The Titanic's saga has transcended the confines of historical records and seeped into the realm of popular culture. From countless books and documentaries to the Oscar-winning film of the late 20th century, the Titanic's tale has been told and retold, captivating audiences worldwide. Its influence extends beyond the realm of entertainment. The disaster prompted major changes in maritime safety regulations, leading to the establishment of the International Ice Patrol and the introduction of significant advancements in life-saving equipment and procedures. Moreover, the Titanic story has fueled continued exploration and scientific research. The ship's wreckage, discovered in 1985, lies 2.5 miles beneath the Atlantic surface, a haunting testament to the vessel's grandeur and tragic end. It continues to be a site of ongoing archaeological study and technological innovation. The Titanic's legacy is not just about the ship itself, but also about the people on board, their hopes, their dreams, their stories. It's about the human capacity for ambition and the humbling power of nature. It's about the unpredictability of life and the enduring human spirit. The Titanic remains a poignant reminder of human ambition, the power of nature and the unpredictability of life.